Well, good morning, everyone. Morning, Mike.
Morning, Chris. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So this is episode 3 of Landscape North. Today we're meeting with Mike Flint from Quinn Design. Mike, before we get started, if you could tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and a little bit maybe about Quinn Design.
Sure. So Quinn Design is a landscape architectural firm. We've been around for about 30 years.
Wow.
And we focus on urban realm projects, urban public spaces, and a wide variety of project typologies from academic, healthcare, residential, wide gamut projects.
Primarily in the GTA market?
Primarily in the GTA. We've done some international work in the past,
nice.
But most of our work centers in the GTA nowadays.
Yeah. Caribbean would be nice this time of year.
Yeah. It's come on pretty cold, so a warm place would certainly be nice.
Perfect. And a little bit about your background.
A little bit about myself. I've been with Quinn for just over 2.5 years now.
Okay.
Prior to that, I was with a design build firm,
Nice.
doing primarily high-end residential work, and before that, spent some time working for one of the municipalities in the GTA.
Oh, okay.
So quite a mix of project types and an experience there.
Commercial, residential, municipal.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Nice. And where did you go to school?
University of Guelph.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
It seems like one of the more popular universities for the landscape design facilities.
In Ontario, there's Guelph and U of T, and hopefully I'm not missing any of the other ones.
No, I think it's just the two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so we'll get right into it. One of the questions that I had from our viewership was, what changes do you see trending in landscape architecture?
Trending right now. So, it's not new, but obviously landscape architects are at the forefront of the climate change.
Right.
So we're looking at adaptation, mitigation, resiliency. It's certainly something that has become more apparent to the general public.
Right.
And been brought to the forefront there. So we're trying to do our best to come up with design responses to the climate change era.
Okay. As an example, maybe which one thing that you guys have sort of picked out as an opportunity for climate change improvement?
I think we see a lot of projects with flood protection.
Okay.
There's a lot going on in Toronto in the Don River
right.
area that they're doing a lot of flood protection, and throughout the North America.
Right.
Like there's a lot of projects that push on that. Whether it's New York City, there's projects there in California or throughout.
Right.
Any coastal community is looking at flood protection.
Obviously, and being so close to Lake Ontario, there's going to be an impact for Toronto market.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. What challenges do you foresee coming up in the industry?
There's a lot. There's from technology,
right?
Keeping up with technology. There's the general knowledge of what landscape architects do. It's a mixed perception on what we do. Everything from you hear everything from your gardeners, your architects, just building architects, and it's hard for people to understand. Architects, it's something easy for people to understand.
Right.
You hear architect, you think building.
Correct.
You can see the building, you can live in the building. That's an easy understanding. But for landscape architects, it's a little bit harder. Parks are one thing, but public spaces are another. So everything between the building and the street, it's not as easy to quantify that for somebody who's walking through it. They just they might experience it, but they're not experiencing it with the thought process that we've gone through to design that space for the general public. So I think that's something.
And you work hand in hand with building architects to enhance their designs.
Well, landscape architects are generalists, right? So we've got our feet and hands in a little bit of everything. We've got building architects that we work with, civil engineers, structural engineers, electrical engineers. We're working with everybody, and we have to coordinate between all the different disciplines to make sure that that we produce a space that works for the public to use.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. So where do you get your inspiration from for your designs?
Oh, inspiration comes from everywhere. Walking around the city, walking around Toronto, I mean, you see lots of great designs coming out from our firm, from many different firms.
Right.
There's a lot of good design out there. Traveling.
Yeah,
I mean, the
yeah.
internet has brought everybody a little bit closer. It's
Sure.
easier to look at things on the web and just say, oh, that's a cool design that was done in Europe. But we have to be sensitive that translates to
Sure.
our climate
Yeah.
and our cultures over here. So getting that, and then just other people in the office,
Sure.
and other colleagues at different firms,
Okay.
whether they're senior level, junior level, right in the middle, and intermediate. And then I've gone back to Guelph to do critiques as well.
Okay. That's
So
good.
it's
Yeah,
interesting
okay.
to see what the students are doing in their projects, their experiences in academia,
Okay.
and then what they're bringing to the table for their projects. And then when they come into the working world, they bring some new excitement to it.
Okay. That makes sense.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Perfect.
good to draw from everybody.
Absolutely. Okay, and then where does Quinn typically where do you guys find your client base from?
Our client base, I mean, with 30 years in the business, we've got a solid client base of repeat customers,
Right.
and that's typical for the industry.
Okay.
If you keep doing good work, then people want to work with you.
Right.
New clients, as we pursue different project types, and we produce landscapes that meet the needs of those clients, other clients start to take notice.
Sure.
We're doing a lot of work with one of the colleges, the local
okay.
colleges, doing a lot of sustainable planting, pollinator gardens, things
okay.
like that. And we've been able to translate that into other work for other clients.
That makes sense. Yeah.
They see what we're doing there and they like it, and they say, oh, we would love to have that at our campus, at our corporate office, something like that.
Okay.
So getting the project types that people are interested
So you guys
in.
sort of target in on sort of specific, building types, project types.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just word of mouth.
Sure.
And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. With 30 years in
Everybody,
business. With
everybody
that many-
talks.
Yeah.
Clients. I mean, there are a lot of developers in the city, but they see what's going on at other development sites, and they
Sure.
see who the consultant team is.
Yeah, or
on
even
that.
if you had a project manager from a previous
Exactly.
project and has gone to a new
Exactly.
company and then wants to bring you in on that project as well.
And all the other consultants,
Right.
the architects, the engineers, everybody. I mean, we all work together on various different
Sure.
projects, so good experience and the value that we try and provide.
And that could come from electrical or mechanical.
Exactly. Yeah.
That makes sense.
You never know where the next project's going to come from, and we're always happy to get somebody new on board and,
That's great.
and work with somebody. Yeah.
Okay, so the last question I have for you would be actually a question that you have for
Sure.
the audience.
Sure.
What question would you, if you were going to get any feedback, please post your comments on this in YouTube or in LinkedIn to provide Mike a little bit of feedback on his question.
Yeah, I think it would always be great to hear from the viewers, like what their perception of landscape architecture is.
Oh,
As I
okay.
kind of mentioned earlier, like
Yeah.
there's a lot of different, a mixed understanding of what we do. So
Sure.
it's always good to hear from other industry professionals or just the general public on what they think landscape architecture and landscape architects do.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So if anybody has questions, if they want to answer that, please post your questions on LinkedIn or YouTube. And Mike, thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Chris.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it.